All right, we are live. This is Jerry Cabazzuto from Soundpath.org. I also run the Liberation Academy.education as well as God is Love Truth Freedom.com. And today we have an amazing Soundpath lineup artist, Joey Phipps. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so happy to see you today and interview with you because your music's awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We definitely also need more metal flavor in our lineup, I would say. I noticed that like a lot of conscious music that artists that we're checking out tend to do more like rap and hip hop.
Yeah.
Have you always liked sort of more metal or
Metal is certainly one of the more easy ways to embrace the shadow archetype that we all deal with, and it's cathartic in every sense to release negative energy. Playing drums obviously is going to be like that for anything, but when you do it with all of the instruments and you make aggressive music, something flows out of you that you didn't really want to be there in the first place. And then whenever other people hear it and can also connect and vibe with it as well, that works as catharsis too. And even though I don't make all metal music, a lot of it, there are some very dark elements in there. In fact, there's a lot of dark elements in there that are not metal even. But yeah, I feel like it would be dishonest of me to make music that was all love and happiness because with anything you need to have a balance there to be real.
I absolutely agree. And we have John in the chat saying hello, welcome.
What's up, John?
Um, Speaking of this idea of the shadow, I forgot to plug all your websites, and I'm so sorry. I just get nervous with the live stream sometimes, so sorry about that. We have libraryoftheuntold.com. We also have you at Void Stares Back Official on YouTube, as
Mhm.
well as voidstaresback.bandcamp.com is your Bandcamp. And you have a new book out and I'm imagining it's concerning the shadow, perhaps.
Yes. Yeah, there's quite a bit in there. The book is pretty much just like the music or the show. All three of them are under the same umbrella of spiritual alchemy, which is a cliche phrase by now, but when you dig your fingers into it and find out the little intricate workings of everything and then make it simple, a lot of avenues really start to open up in your life. And it's a wonderful thing to experience and share.
What sort of was there anything in particular that made you want to sort of write this kind of music or work on this book?
Yeah, um, I suppose our limited biological uh suits that we're wearing are really restricting, and I've always felt very claustrophobic, not comfortable in my own skin. Uh just knowing that we're being lied to and knowing that the people who are lying to us know that we know that they're lying to us and just accepting that and just basically walking with our heads down trying to get by in the survival mode mechanism that we have built for ourselves that we're stuck with here inside of our bodies, because when we're in here we we're subject to pain. We have to eat to survive. We have to kill things to eat. It's just a big loop of suffering that can be attributed as something quite negative if it's not alchemized correctly. And it's worth looking at in an analytical way. And whenever you take something that is, I don't want to say necessarily bad, but just restricted, something it's in the negative, it's in the red, and you make it into art. That's the purest form of alchemy I can think of. even though it's not one of my examples, the book, the channel, and the music fall under the same category as stand-up comedy, for example. You'll notice whenever you watch stand-up comedy, they're never telling you happy stories with great endings, and it's never anything like, love and light. What a stand-up comedy special does, what a comedian does, is they take bad experiences, they take things that are negative, things that are awful, embarrassing, or outrageous, and they make it funny. So it's that transmutation of something that is less desirable into something that you would pay tickets to hear someone talk about. So that's just that goes to show you the power of alchemizing, transmuting anything into whatever shape desired for that the format that you see fit.
Yeah, I'm really resonating with everything that you're sharing. And I'm also thinking about this idea that is sort of this sort of new age concept of good vibes only, that's common. And
Yeah,
I agree that like there can be a sort of toxic positivity almost in our
it's
culture.
yeah, it's poisonous and it's not contagious enough. So whenever you have people ignoring negative things, you got like this rubber band effect. It's going to keep stretching the longer it's ignored until eventually the rubber band breaks, and that's not good for anything. The process of individuation that Carl Jung had. It's the same process across the board, whether it's like Kundalini or enlightenment or Zen or riding the ox home. The closest one to us, to me, as a white boy over here, is Carl Jung's individuation. And it's all forms of alchemy, but the necessary process that he puts forward is to embrace that the darker elements of yourself, the parts that you're trying to hide, not only from others, but the parts you're trying to hide from yourself. That's the really difficult shit to uh to actually transmute, because before you can transmute that, you have to be comfortable with it first. So that's kind of the key, is once you're comfortable and familiar with it enough to actually look at it face to face, then you can kind of sit in that box that you fear. And once you can be in that place that you fear the most and rest there, you're completely free. There's nothing else that you have to do after that.
Um, Do you think that in order to understand deeper truths, one must do that shadow work process first?
Oh, first thing.
Yeah.
Uh that's why in alchemy, pretty much the first step is that calcination. It's the part that obliterates, burns away everything that you thought had structure to it. You know, especially with our identities, like who we think we are. Whenever something negative happens that threatens your reputation or your name, or just where your comfort zones are, whenever those boundaries get crossed or removed, then we're just exposed, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling. So whenever that comfort zone is obliterated and your foundation is pretty much crumbled, that's a good time to celebrate, because not only is it all up from there, but you get to, and that goes into the next stage of alchemy, of of uh this I forgot, the coagulation, where we can actually put it back together ourselves the way that we see fit for ourselves. And it's always from scratch. You're never gonna make the pieces that didn't work. You're gonna have to make something brand new that will work. Otherwise, everything's futile. You just do everything over and over again, like on a hamster wheel.
Everything that we're talking about makes me want to play New Sun. Do you want to do that?
I love that song. Yeah.
Yay! Me
Uh,
too.
it's it's a strange song in a way that I suppose there's a pun involved. A lot of people think that it's something celestial based on the name of the song, but the song is actually very down to earth. If you listen to the lyrics, it's actually it's actually pretty mundane, but it's a part of ourselves that we don't really talk about, a part of society that we don't really talk about. So I went to a pumpkin patch with my son, and there was like a group of kids around like a fire or whatever. And then a mom came up and she was pushing her son in a wheelchair, and he came up with all the other kids, and it got really quiet amongst the other kids because the child that just came up was like belligerently disabled to the point of being like almost, it was startling to see. But then
Oh,
you do
wow.
that thing where you're kind of like, you pretend to ignore it, you're not really sure what to do. And
Mm,
my son, who I'm very proud of him, he jumped right into the discomfort. He was like, "What's up, dude? How you doing? What's your name? And the kid couldn't respond. It was just guttural noises. But
yeah.
like, it was a good experience to see that interaction. So I was thinking to myself, what kind of love emits from a parent um that 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 keeps them holding on. So like, let's say you have a child and it just comes out like that and you just know it. Now it's like, I'm going to be taking care of this disabled person forever, and they're going to die before I do. Like, so I've got like a good 12 to 18 years of just mending to this person who will never actually wake up out of this. And I thought to myself, like, that's a whole different genre of unconditional love right there, to bathe them every day, to feed them, to change them. And you just keep doing it. And that's your life now. It's not like having an average child. So that's something that is both beautiful and absolutely tragic at the same time, something that could be mourned and celebrated simultaneously. So new sun is actually, the sun is a pun of the word sun, like we would have a sun. And it also kind of represents the eclipse that happens, in that particular case. It's There's the little backstory for you.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about your thoughts on the song because it's one of my favorites of yours. So
I'm glad.
cool. Here we go. Um, oh my God, I had it queued up for a second. Sorry. While I'm queuing it up again, I'm trying to be organized with my files,
Oh, I
and I'm
get
a
it.
little
I
too
know.
organized.
I'm still getting used to everything. I just got StreamYard, and I want to be able to have the comments pop up on the screen. I want to do all that stuff. I need to
Yeah,
expand my horizons into the digital age a little bit further. I'm a little old school over here.
no worries. All right, here we go. New Sun by Void Stares Back.
Oh, I'm glad it's the video, not just the audio. Cool. I haven't seen this in a while, actually.
I've got one foot in the grave, but care more than a fool who would be here in my
This
place.
is in my friend's basement. This is, yeah, whatever we had to work with.
I can't hear the words you say. I've grown deaf to the sound of you getting your way, but I'll offer my hand because the sun hides its face when I step outside. But I'll still grow your crops with the tears that I've cried, just in the rain at night.
The part I miss most about this video is my hair.
In blood they write my name. When they wish hell on me, man, I can feel it ache.
What? Where you going?
So I am tears that I've cried. Take my hand, and you'll never know what it's like to be damned. Take my I won't know the life I'll trade for a job that blurs the lines of love and pain. My name loves the words you shout. I'll come running head over heels with foot in mouth. Love rust, bad luck. A human shield when the wind starts to gust. Love rust, bad luck. You'll breathe easy when my flesh turns to dust. Love rust, bad luck.
I love the little dubsteppy part.
Life is easy 'cause it's harder for some. The sun hides its face when I step outside. Rain is drowning me, but I'll still grow your crops with the tears that I've cried. It's gonna watch a place to meet me. Take my hand, and you'll never know what it's like to be damned. Take my hand. Take my hand.
8.
Ugh,
I kind of forgot how good that video was. Not to toot my own horn, but like
it's good.
watching it, it reminds me. Um, well, exactly what we were talking about. Just the main theme of it is of alchemy. That video, it was took nothing to make. The background was plastic tarps, and we put lamps behind the plastic tarps, and then we hung that light down the middle and just plugged that in, and then just a cell phone, we recorded it. It was just me and Kyle, and then just we edited it, put the music on top of it. So like $0. I mean, a lot of effort, but $0. And you can do whatever you want,
That's actually really cool to hear. Sometimes when I watch people's music videos, I'm like, "Oh, that could be easy to do," and,
Right.
like, it's inspiring to, yeah, hear about that. I I can tell you're, like, a good person because you definitely, like you said, like, went through that inner sort of experience and processing and alchemized it into your music. Like, I feel like there's this, misunderstanding from some people hearing dark music that the person's dark,
Right.
when it tends to actually be the opposite.
I see what you're saying, because when you said that first thing, my initial response was like, but hold on a second, I could be a complete psychopath and just be a really good actor with just psychotic precision and just be a monster. But that would make more sense if I was doing like some Kenny G piano music or whatever, like, which I know there's piano in there, but like if I was
Right.
doing something rather pretentious or whatever. But because this, I guess the song is so dark and vulnerable in the first place, that it kind of flips the script on you. And I find that to be the case with a lot of metalheads. They're the most gentle people. If you need proof of that, look at like the violence rates between a country music concert a rap concert, a pop concert, and a heavy metal, like all the way death metal, Cradle of Filth, Cannibal Corpse, like concert, you're going to get the
Right.
most loving and gentle people at that latter concert, and it's very ironic, but it goes with that catharsis because those people are allowed to express themselves in a way that is healthy, whereas the other three, the expression is still there, but there's a lot being retained and withheld, and they're just kind of becoming spiritually constipated in a way without allowing those darker elements to actually fly out and be vulnerable like that, because being vulnerable like that is what makes us strong, you know, in retrospect.
I would definitely agree with everything you're saying and add that being a millennial, I kind of grew up with this sort of like darker, like metal,
What was your
alternative,
first?
grunge.
Was it Corn?
It was actually Alanis Morissette with "You Have Me
Yes.
Cover." Yeah, she was very like, wow, like she was very like diaristic, like
Yeah.
diary, and sort of expanded I mean, I was young at the time when her music came out, but I was just sort of like really just like, wow, women are allowed to be angry,
Yes. Right.
you know?
Jagged Little Pill was the soundtrack of my damn near all of my summers post 1992. And then, man, when she came out with that Uninvited song, like directly after that fiasco, and the way it just dipped into, it was like it went from being like, okay, it's dark in such a way that she's saying the things that you're thinking, she's saying the things that people don't want to say out loud, and that's risque and that's kind of spicy, but it's still funk music, right? And then Uninvited came out, and it was like, oh damn, it sounded like some kind of like Arabic like jinn type summoning. It was like something out of Skyrim or whatever. Like it was dark. And so I was like, yeah, that hit the spot for me as well.
Yeah, that whole era has a lot of music that I think follows the sort of capital R romantic tradition of like going through feelings and like um, you know, and it became more about like the individual feelings in lyrics.
Right.
And yeah, and then that, moved into like emo, and now you have like emo rap now even, but it's like totally not the same. Like you said, there's no catharsis. There's no like you need to have some sort of like women get angry too,
Yeah.
like and having that release. I also like to sing angrily and
Yeah.
often still trying to work on the vocal hygiene aspect of that because I'm not quite balancing.
Do you record?
I'm maybe working on something for Soundpath, probably just like one track with my friend. But yeah, like I think it's definitely. Are you trained vocally?
No, I'm not trained in anything.
Wait, including your instruments?
No, no training, no music theory. I refuse all of it. I I found very early on that all of that shit just held me back so much, even attempting it.
Mm.
I failed miserably in guitar lessons. It was a short spout. Um, it just I don't know. I've always just I love playing piano, and it's just is when you press this key it makes a noise. And when you press this key, well, it sounds kind of good with that one when you do them at the same time. And then you just do that a couple more times, and then stuff happens. You just move in the direction that it feels right and sounds right. But chord shapes, music theory, sheet music, I think has held us back enormously. But of course, whenever in the hiring process, when you have to hire people to do your music, that becomes necessary. So I'm not dogging on it or anything like that. But if you're an independent musician just doing your own thing, that's a complete waste of time. In fact, I'll go as far as to say it's a distraction, because
Wow.
music is made out of shapes. It's geometry. That's all it is. If you add lines, if you add if you try to, it's like explaining the joke to me. It ruins it, you know. But that's just me. Teach their
Hmm.
own, you know.
Whoa.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble on that
Well,
with
no,
like,
it's making me think because I think you may be onto something. Like I think a lot of, like I'm thinking a bit of it more on like a hemispheric level, like especially with your playing when you're playing instruments, it's more intuitive. You're feeling it. You're using, your more of your right hemisphere to look at larger patterns. But then, when you intellectualize it with your left, you kind of come out of that
right.
to intellectualize it. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
That's, I think you said it better than I did, because the left and right brain hemisphere is the perfect way to put it. Because with me, with music, it's all right brained all the way. Like I'm just letting that happen. I'm trying not to get in the way of it. But the moment that someone's like, this isn't a B flat minor, then you're over here all of a sudden. Now you put a hurdle in the way, you know. The only time I've found that left brain logic seems to work in music is whenever you're adjusting a compressor setting. Like in, like that's, I guess you kind of have to, but even then you can still feel around and with the little buttons and stuff. And I don't know, there's all kinds of tutorials on how to produce your own music and all that stuff. There's a guy named Ruben, what's his name? Rick Rubin, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's the number one music producer, and he'll say the same thing. Whenever I saw him in an interview looking all disheveled and weird, at first I was like, what? But and when I heard him talk about how he doesn't, not only does he not understand music theory, but he doesn't bother to. I think I understood him on a level that made his haircut start to make sense. But like whenever he described like, so like he was producing for, or he was hired to produce for System of a Down, and he was watching this band on stage, and he was like, "This is the most specific niche version of anything." It's like they're doing these like Aryan dances and chants and stuff like that, jumping around, and they barely speak English. He's like, "This could never be huge. This could never be a gigantor type of superstar level band." But then he was like, "But we can make it that way. We can make it that way if we just get outside the box and go in that direction. Like try, so instead of making System of a Down merge into our world and become more normal, he's like, how far can we take how weird they are and make it all the way weird? And then you kind of, that flips the script on it. It puts it in reverse. And now, I mean, he was right. They're like, the biggest damn band in the world, to the point where they don't even have to make new music anymore, which I don't understand, but I digress.
I love System of a Down, by the
Yeah.
way. He's good. He's a good singer. Serge, I think.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
trying to quit the band and they don't get along, and I just don't get it. If you're making fucking $500,000 every time you step on stage, guys, come on, quit arguing. But he wants to quit the band, and he's like, find a new singer, but everyone's like, who? Like,
He is the band. Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I also like they have like not to use the music theory word, but like they change time signatures. Like it's
Oh
like
yeah.
you think you're doing like 4/4, and then all of a sudden you're in like a waltz, and then you go back to
Yeah.
4/4, and then there's like I don't know, like and like you said, like everything's kind of like whoa, weird, what's happening, but
Yeah.
but it makes sense for them. Getting back to your music though, I can't believe that you're like, I mean, I can believe you're self-taught because you have that in your sort of esoteric research aspect, so it would make sense, but I'm just like, I'm amazed. I mean, I you're quite good.
Well, if you isolate yourself for, you know, whatever, 12 hours a day, and you just do it. Oh, I think I sacrificed probably the better half of my teenage years. I didn't I didn't go out. I didn't party or nothing like that. I had my guitar, and I just kind of, I don't know, escaped into that. But it was an over escapism for sure, because it took over everything for years of my life. Um, so I was like a strictly a musician from the ages of, I mean, from the age of 14 until like literally about 3 years ago. I was strictly a musician. I mean, I had to do jobs and stuff because music does not offer, it doesn't matter how good you are at music. It doesn't matter. You won't pay the bills with it unless you, or you have your nepotism into it or whatever, unless you can raise maybe $100,000 to donate to a record label and whatever. But if you're not in the club, music is not going to be a job. So, but that sucked. So I was a musician anyway, because that's all I knew. I got into the wrong thing, or so I thought. It wasn't until you know, the spring of 2023 that I realized I could do something else entirely. That turns out to be under the same umbrella, but pays the bills, and actually, I don't know, something that actually works, that you can do independently without depending on a record label or punching in and out of the clock. All of these things that we're tricked into.
This makes me think that we should play your Money Makes the Man song. What do you think?
I love it. And I feel like you're the DJ of my ranting. Like, I should, like, if I ever give a PowerPoint presentation, we're gonna put all of my hits on a thing, and you're gonna be the DJ as I go. You can play segments of it. But
Yeah, I try to like flow with the conversation. I first familiarize myself with the artist's work before I interview, and I really try to find ways to slip the song in. So
yeah. Well,
cool.
I guess the quick in and out of that song would be, with money, yes, life is better. But the sacrifice is, now that you will be a little bit more inauthentic. With the more money you have, the more you are now obligated to pretend this or that. Being flat broke and homeless is really one of the only ways to find out actually who you are. So it's an ironic inversion of yin and yang, that money is great. You can't be set on a wave runner, and everything is just magical and perfect. But now you've got a lot to maintain and take care of every day. So it's kind of that irony there.
All right. Money Makes the Man. Here we go.
Hold your place, hidden under your gown, pointed at my head, fire around. Take my ideas from the lost and found, hang it from my neck, let me fall down. They won't shake your hand unless there's a dollar in it. The money makes a man. You're part of a plan. Man doesn't make the money. Money makes the man. A better man than I was, a better man than before. A better life than it was, a better life than before.
So you can tell a bit of sarcasm there. I always love the dynamic of a song whenever the music is very, very sad and the lyrics are happy, it creates that, like Billie Eilish is perfect at that, you know? Or if the music is really happy and the lyrics are very dark, like in 21 Pilots. I love that
Yeah.
opposite effect going on there. And that's a good way to illustrate it. And that song is like, it's a good reminder, I think, to anybody like um to be careful what you wish for. You know, I have I have no complaints. I'm doing great and I feel good. But so so to make the money that I am making now took an extraordinary amount of isolation and withdrawal from love, from camaraderie, from affection. I live alone in this house and with my two kitty cats. I mean, I get my son on the weekends and everything, but those are all details. The fact of the matter is that you get to that point where you need to be, where you take away that gut despair of like, am I going to be able to pay my bills? All these types of worry. And you just move that pocket of worry right up into your heart. And then you're like, okay, it's just going to hurt there now instead of down there, you know? So
Mm,
it's one of those things where you find out, you're not, if you're not happy with what you got, you're not going to be happy. If there's no way to fix it, that's the answer to people who ask the question about like Robin Williams or Chester Bennington, who, you know, they killed themselves and they're like, well, how could they kill themselves? They, you know, they had everything. They're not understanding that if you're depressed, if you're sad in general, and you're like, okay, well, I won't be depressed. All I have to do is get to this next step. I need to master this. I need to get to this place and I won't be depressed. Someday you're going to get to the very top that you possibly can be. And when you get there and you find out that you're still depressed, that's when you panic. That's when you realize, oh, I can't get any higher than this. This is just, I, I I'm not allowed to be happy. And that will really scare somebody, you know, because they realize not only am I not happy now, but it's only downhill from here. I'm at my zenith, you know. So to me, it actually makes more sense when somebody who is extremely rich and successful kills themselves because they've got a lot to lose and they have come from a place where they thought they could fix their depression and then found out with cemented certitude that they can't. You know, their 12 o'clock noon position is in sadness. So unless you can just either work with that or better yet, don't fix it and just find yourself somehow comfortable sitting in that box where you're miserable and resting there, then I mean that's about the only chance that you got, you know.
mm,
There's a
yeah.
little rant with every song.
Oh, no, I love it. It just makes me think a lot about this idea of materialism in general, how
Yeah,
if you're centering yourself on a foundation that's already problematic, you're not going to reach very high heights spiritually
right.
because you're the premise is wrong, the foundation is wrong, um,
Yeah,
and it's sort of just. I mean, I would hope that for those that are sort of going through that sort of process of, okay, well, I quote unquote made it and yet I feel empty. Um, I've experienced that before. I've had, situations where money wasn't an issue, and I've had situations where, things are tight, and like I, I kind of find that like what you said, like I, I may not have, a plethora of financial resources right now, but like I'm really excited about this festival. I'm really excited about sharing, conscious truth and freedom music. And like I think your music is part of that because I think going through these internal processes readies oneself for truth. And if you can't even be there in your mind, then how can you accept reality, you know?
yeah, yeah. It's the heavy-handed truth of it, you know. Um, I know I have many times, and I'm sure everybody has felt this experience where you save up to buy the thing that you're excited about buying, and then you buy it, and like literally the next day, you're like, I just have this thing now. Like now it just takes up space. Like that's all you wanted the last like 2 months or whatever. It's all you wanted was this thing. And now it's like it's not exciting anymore because now you have it, you know? Whereas I don't know, if you plan a day to go to a museum with your kid and you just head out, you're like, hey, you want to stop at Quick Trip on the way? It's like that's the most exciting shit ever, you know? So it goes it's those I guess they're right when they say that you should buy experience and not things. That actually it's a
Mm.
cliche, but it makes sense.
Mm. I'm feeling a lot of gratitude that we're doing this.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Cool. Okay. Well, I kind of want to show something that features all the instruments that you play.
Okay.
Um, should we do, let's see, we can do Carnate to Wander Alone, Order from Chaos.
Order from Chaos is a lyric video. It's
Oh, okay.
easily my favorite song, but it doesn't show me playing anything. To Wander Alone and Carnate both, yeah, they show me I think playing all the instruments. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, those I'm actually on all five of the instruments in either one of those videos.
Okay. I'm feeling Carnate. Do you want to do that?
Sure. I
Okay. I
can't wait
feel
to
kind
see
of
it.
bad like choosing what we play. It's
Yeah. This one,
okay.
this one is about my friend Charles who died of I don't know. See, he died of something. He was very young. He died at like 26. So
Oh.
at the age of 23, he went blind, and that went to show everybody that yeah, this shit's temporary, dude. Like he was a young, healthy, excited young
Mm.
man, and he just went blind like quick, like glaucoma. And towards the end of his life, over those 3 years, he was very stiff and very heavy. He used to be weigh 130 pounds, this kid, and then he turned into like this Roblox, like water bloated. We used to take him to do stuff because he couldn't do anything. He was blind. And we would take him to I'd be like, Charles, we're taking you to the nicest seafood restaurant in St. Louis. And then the waitress would ruin it by walking up and being like, welcome to Long John Silver's. And he would just laugh. He would just all the most ridiculous things. I took him to a laser show, a Pink Floyd laser show, and he's blind. Like just for the absurdity of it.
I love
And
that.
and he loved the comedy. And he would always joke about being blind and dying and stuff. And so the song is about his acceptance, not only of his death, but also accepting that he had not figured out life yet. So he'll be reincarnating again as doing the same thing. And he expressed to me, he's like, I don't care if I got to do this 100,000 times like the Buddha did. I'm just grateful, to be doing it. And then
Mm.
one day he died. He was at my house. He could have died at my house, but we got him home. It was like a day later. He
Mm.
died playing the guitar. He died with a BC Rich Warlock in his hands. He was found all not to get over whatever descriptive, but he
Wow.
died with a guitar in his hand. And yeah, and he is a good example of inspiration in the face of death. And so that yeah, this song is kind of a mixture of like the meek will inherit earth, but also understanding that if you don't figure yourself out before you die, that you're perpetuating that Ouroboros.
Mm. All right. Whew.
That's the rundown.
Carnate. Here we go.
Giving into it is feeding into it, buried into my own
So a little fun thing, all that foam on the wall is just shit I found on construction sites that equipment's brought in on.
The ladder between the pillars that don't stand alone or end. Dust in our eyes until the fall. Catch wind of the light of insight, unbind you. The will pass. We go blind. Did you forget that death comes to save you? One open eye can see at night. Open the space above guts and skin blue. Out of the line until I die. So giving polite to the test that finds you. Giving polite to the test that finds you. Giving polite to the test that finds you. To you I fall together all to meet again. Your wasted life was on time. No life wasted. You're on time.
So it sounds kind of weird to say, but I can do an acoustic version of this song and it actually worked. It makes sense, as weird as that is.
Walk up to the end and dive into the abyss. Fly away as if there's no bottom or top. Dust in our eyes until the fall. Catch wind of the light of insight, unbind you. The will pass. We go blind. Did you forget that death comes to save you? One open eye can see at night. Open the space above guts and skin blue. Out of the line until I die. So giving polite to the test that finds you. Giving polite to the test that finds you. Giving polite to the test that finds you. To you I fall together.
There he is.
to meet again your wasted life.
The first one was him telling me the pizza's there, and the second one I gotta sign the receipt. I can still do that. Ah,
You'll be born against the grain. You'll be subject to its game, to dread becoming human again. You'll be born only to die.
thanks,
Laborious the
John.
school of time. You'll learn the hardest way. Becoming human again. Human again.
There's a kind of an interesting thing um about this song was so Charles, after he died, obviously his mom was was being had an influx of all these really positive cards and people consoling her and saying if there's anything you need, blah blah blah, and all this like he's in a better place and all that stuff.
Ugh.
And whenever she saw this video, she knew it was for Charles. And she shared it like 3 days later, and she was like, I've been struggling with this song for like 3 days because it's not happy. And the way she kind of expressed it was that was the first time that she was able to like equivalent herself with the mourning of the loss of her son in a for real way, in a logical, actual way where she can grieve and mourn this thing. Because everyone's telling her it's all going to be okay. And she's like, it's not okay. My son's dead. Like everyone's just like showing this like extracurricular face of fakeness, being like, everything's great. Everything's fine. This didn't happen. Right. But that song, what I kind of didn't mean to capture with the song, but ended up happening was you're like, no, it's a bad thing. This is very sad, and he's gonna do it again and again, and so am I, and so are all of us. And it's not something we have to pretend to be comfortable with. It can be quite awful, especially in this particular case. So the same way that Rick Rubin took how weird System of a Down was and went all the way in that direction. If you see how awful it is, instead of escaping it, you go in that direction of how awful it is. You come out on the other side, and you've already been through it now. It's just so you're good. It's like the parable of the buffalo. Did you know that North American buffalo, whenever a storm is on the horizon, they don't run away from the storm with all the other animals. They run into the storm.
Mm.
So what happens is all of the other animals they get whistle bit and they get tired because they keep running from the storm, and the storm keeps coming. And the more they run, the more it keeps coming, and they wear themselves out. And sometimes they die that way. It's a weird thing. But the buffalo runs into the storm. So it passes over their head, and they're not in the storm anymore, and they exert very little effort in that. In fact, I think they walk. I forgot how the National Geographic thing was on it or whatever, but that's a perfect example of taking it on head first like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this idea of um like I used to live near the beach and would go swimming in the ocean, and like when there's a big wave, you have to just go kind of
Yeah,
under and through it rather than swimming away from it. You just have to embrace that it's happening.
yeah,
And yeah, I'm also thinking about this idea of like um, trauma in general, right? If you ignore it and you deal with your maladaptive coping strategies for it, you never get over it, you know?
Right.
You kind of have to experience those feelings of despair, of loss, of whatever the
Right.
case may be, you know?
It has shown, especially in the case of waves on the beach or a tsunami or even car accidents, people who struggle are the ones who die, and the ones who just go limp always end up surviving. It's the weirdest thing. Your body knows how to survive. You know, you've seen, unfortunately, that drunk drivers survive and their victims don't. It's because they're not even aware that they were in an accident, so they don't tense up, and so they don't get in their own way. Same thing with people who can't swim. They're so focused on swimming that it doesn't work, you know, and the body floats
Wow.
naturally. So people in like tsunamis who are passed out, they end up surviving. And it's so ironically backwards, you know. But oh shit, what was the second thing that I was gonna the second thought that you had made me have a thought, but
Something
that first one
about,
knocked out.
like, rather than sort of like, um, so I'll just speak from my own experience. So,
Sure.
like, dealing with various childhood traumas, I had all these like dissociative patterns to the point where like I wasn't really like living anymore. Like I was
Yeah.
kind of like going through the motions of life, and like it took a lot of like, okay, well, let's just face this now.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of I mean, I did cognitive behavioral therapy for a while, but I did EMDR was extremely helpful for me. I don't know if you've done that or know people who have done that. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. That was
Okay.
like huge for me. Plant medicine journeying, journaling,
Yeah.
making music, writing poems,
Yeah.
drawing, doodling.
All
Um,
forms of expression, I think, they heal trauma because I mean, you got to think about like what is trauma? It's not pain. There's a show called oh, he's gonna kill me if I fucking quote him and don't. Uh Damn it, dude. I'm gonna think Formscapes. So one of my buddies has a YouTube channel called Formscapes, and I watched his recent video. We all watch each other's videos and shit. And he described trauma as a pain that you can't justify psychologically. So it's
ooh,
like
yeah.
it's right. So it's not so pain is obvious because if something hurts, your body's sending you a signal to not do that anymore, right? So that makes sense. Whereas trauma is a type of pain that your cognitive functions cannot accept as being a reality. So you're pretty much fucked from then on after that, if because it will never logically make sense. It's like, what do you do now at this point? Because now that that pain is a trauma, you just always got it now, all the time. And so it's always in the back of your head. So even if you have a happy moment, that one thing that hurts so much that you can't make it make sense is still back there, like kind of eating away at all the little joys and everything. And it's something that how do you make yourself like comfortable with the fact that something that bad can happen in the world? You're like, because at that point you're like, I don't even want to be in a world that where those terrible things exist, you know? So yeah, it's a weird psychological it's hard to get rid of it. I'm curious about what you mentioned. You said EDMR.
Yes, EMDR, I'll write it in the chat. Highly recommend for people moving through trauma. And I like to say moving through because,
Yeah,
like you said, it's not something to get over. It's something that you have to experience and move through.
right,
You're not trying to get it over with. You're not trying to wallow in it. You're just moving through it.
right.
Um, is how I sort of think of it. And I totally agree with everything that you're saying, dude. Like this idea that like I kind of think cognitive behavioral therapy is bullshit because it's like you're talking, you're in your
Yeah,
conscious, and
right,
that's not where the trauma is. It's underneath. It's subconscious. It's in your body, like you said. It's like it's
right.
not, and so, like, doing somatic work too, like, I was into martial arts for a while.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, just like, just dance, just finding various I feel like, in general, like this humanity's condition is so immoral and tragic. Like I'm constantly working on healing myself and self-care. Like I don't do enough self-care, but just it's tough out
It's
here in
I
this
saw
body.
a meme recently that is so funny to quote even, but it's a because it's a meme. But it said, because the world is so corrupt and deranged that the only way to rebel is to be a loving and honest person. That's like then you're in the minority all of a sudden. And you're like, damn, that's sad, but that's also very inspiring because that goes to show you that to be a punk rocker, all you gotta do is be nice to kids. Like it's like,
Oh,
whoa, that kind of switches it up on you a little bit, you know?
there was a this line about the one eye lighting through the darkness. Was that like this idea of like the actual illumination, or was that a reference to your friend's blindness, or what what,
Oh,
what was the significance of that line
one open eye can see at night.
at night? Yeah,
Um, that is, on the surface level, it's referring to the pineal gland, as an easy reference, as something esoteric, the mind's eye that can see in the
right.
dark, you know. But on a deeper level, I think the reason I'm referring to it as one open eye can see at night is because our two eyes are dead set on the physical attributes of life, like how good we look and how nice our car is and how good your house looks and your lawn. And like so our two eyes are always judging things and comparing things and saying I like that, I don't like that, I have preferences, right? So the two eyes is very limiting, and there's no surprise in that because there's two of them. That's going to embrace duality. That duality is preferences,
Whoa.
left. So if you get rid of preferences, you're pretty much a Zen master at that point. By the way, I talk a lot of shit. I'm nowhere close to these guys, Lao Tzu, what these Zen masters I read about and report on. I'm light years away from anything like that. But that's the reason I study it. That's the reason I talk about it, because not only am I a bad example of what they have set up, but I think I'm a good example of how you can go from one end of the spectrum all the way to the other end, by embracing not having preferences. In the Bible, it talks about, God does not prefer people who have had an easy life and just skim through and go to heaven. Whenever he's reaching out, he looks for the people coming out of rehab, people in the halfway houses and stuff like that. Like, so God or whoever is personified, whatever, in this case, Jesus, he prefers to hang out with the delinquents because what's more inspiring? A man who graduates college and then becomes a CEO, or or a drug addict, a heroin addict who is just wastes his entire adult life astray in the wrong direction, but then he ends up becoming the CEO, right? Which story is going to make it to be a legendary status, and that's the Book of Enoch really shows that really well, because it's like Alan Watts. Alan Watts says you're under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago, and it's that simple, but it's difficult. So it's almost like to completely change your life and shift timelines altogether, like drastically, literally happens. You can do it in 1 second, and it's that simple. But that's also simultaneously like the hardest thing that to do. It's like jumping out of a plane. It's going to be dread until you actually do it. The oldest myths are allegory for this in the most plain and simple ways. the oldest one in the book is like, okay, the treasure is in the back of the cave, but you got to fight the dragon to get to the treasure in the back of the cave. So you can't go around the cave. You can't sneak past the dragon. Or like the damsel in distress, right? She's in the top of the tower. You can't fly to the top of the tower. You have to go through it. And guess what's there? It's a serpent or whatever version of the serpent you want for each myth. But you fight the serpent and you kill it before you can get to your goal. It's you can't. 21 Pilots says in one of their lyrics, I'm about it because I'm surrounded. There's no up, over, or around it. And by the way, 21 Pilots, yeah, it's catchy and stuff. Deep alchemical connotations throughout, and one of
Wow.
my favorite bands ever. If you
I
ever
need to
get a chance to
re-listen.
watch Jumpsuit, the music video for Jumpsuit is right out of Carl Jung's Red Book, taken directly from it.
Oh,
It's awesome.
crap. I definitely wanna watch it now, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with 21 Pilots, but I haven't, like, dove into their work, but I like it. I like
Yeah,
them. You know?
they're one of those bands you kinda gotta ignore the singles and get
Mm,
into get their album and just start at track 7 and then finish out, like, those are the songs right there. The stuff they put on the radio is, I mean, they gotta do their thing, they gotta make their money, and the fun thing is their mainstream songs are about mocking themselves for making mainstream songs like Lane Boy and which is a pun of Lane Boy, I think. And Chlorine is like he wants to make stuff that's very strange taste, but they want something that is going to be radio friendly. So he makes a song about doing that, and it's a self reference to itself. I love that.
it's funny. Oh, cool. Well, let's get back to your music.
Fine. Jeez.
We can do maybe one more. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Oh man. Oh, one more,
Or
huh?
we could
This
do
is
two more. We could do two more. It's
not.
fine. I usually average
Um,
hour and a half for these interviews.
yeah. Order from Chaos is my favorite song of mine personally,
Cool.
but what's a one that nobody knows about, man?
I like that song too. Maybe let's play that and then we can play another one after while
All
you
right,
think.
sure.
Okay, cool. Here we go. Order from Chaos.
Shout out to TC Media. He made the last lyric video and this one. And also the Buddhist monk chants in here, I did myself. There was no effects. So just to clear that up. This gets better, I promise.
Change me out with new components. Can you teach me how? Can you break me down and then rebuild me? Show me how. The puzzle pieces
This is the part I was referencing. So a funny thing here, when I gave this upcoming line in Latin to my ex-wife to sing, she was like, "What the hell am I doing?" But she pulled it off.
Order from chaos, sentience from void, light from the dark. Order from chaos, sentience from void, light from the dark.
None of these graphics are AI, by the way. Tyler does all this himself.
Witness the signs. Witness the signs that lead out of hell. The hurt do it quick, the numb do it slow, the wise do it well. Changing my eyes changes my sight, changing my mind. The tough choose to fight, the shy choose to hide. I'll choose to be blind. Can you change me out with new components? Can you teach me how? Can you break me down and then rebuild me? Show me how to climb out upside down for you to digest. Can you feel my bow? Inside out to reassemble all the broken parts that fell out.
So, like, well, the rest of the song is just ambience, by the way. But this song most people assume it's about like alchemy. It's got like they think it's very deeply occult and esoteric, and I guess it does. It has those connotations to it. But if we're being honest, that song is for real straight up about Jesus Christ and just the mindset. So not specifically Jesus Christ, but the idea of a savior figure after you've completely given up hope, that moment of surrender where you're like, okay, I'm at rock bottom. I obviously don't know how to do this living a life adult thing. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's a fucking disaster. I completely surrender everything. Just fucking show me what to do. And something comes over you in that. And I don't think it matters what religion it again, like I said earlier, Caucasian white boy from America, the closest one on the block is going to be old JC. But Hindu, you're going to have Krishna, and you're going to have a different one all over the world, and that's normal. So that's like the main thing to kind of get out of the way. One story, many names. But whenever you surrender to that higher power, at that point, it doesn't matter if it's your inner self, because at that point there's a blurred line. Now that you can get out of your own way, whatever that egregore or that thought form that you've projected as personifying perfection is, you can become closer to it now, because you've given up on all of your habits and constructs that have been holding you back the whole time. So it's like, this is where Christian people start to get confused, they have this idea that instead of those things that Christ intended, whether it's real or not doesn't matter, but you got to think like his whole idea was these children are set up to fail, original sin. They're born into this. There's no way they can make it. So I have to go in there and I have to do all of the suffering for them. And I have to absorb all of that bullshit so that they might have a chance because the archons are going to eat. So they might as well eat at me. So I'm going to become flesh so I can absorb all that. And that's what we are supposed to imitate. Like Carl Jung says, to become a sun instead of a planet, where you don't need anything from anybody, but you become an oak tree. So oak tree, everything depends on you, and you're there for it to depend on shade, nutrients, food, shelter. But while you're the oak tree, the birds are picking at you and the caterpillars are eating you, and if somebody's going to burn you down someday, cut you down, turn you into furniture. You got to be grateful for becoming a couch. So it's like you the Christ figure is something that you're supposed to become, to take on that burden. Whereas a lot of Christians think that what he meant to do was just do it for them and
Mm,
hey, get it out of the way. All you got to do now is believe. You're done. All you got to believe. You get a free ticket to
right.
heaven if you just believe this. How do you make yourself believe in anything? So that right off the bat, you've got a paradox. You can't give yourself a placebo effect. So I think that you're supposed to become the oak tree and absorb all of that suffering. It's your turn now to once you have that realization, that's the part that sucks, is that now it's your turn to do the suffering so other people don't have to.
I'm getting literal chills because that felt like a synchronicity because I was literally talking to my kid yesterday about oak trees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw you make a face about, yeah, when I said oak trees. What's up with oak trees in
I
with
said the
you?
same thing you did, man. I was like, we are to be an oak tree. We are to protect and
Right.
provide shade. Well, I didn't say that,
Yeah.
but someone else close to. Anyway, so but we were talking about it, and yeah, that felt like a synchronicity, and I also agree. I think I under. You want me to give you credit? Okay, I wasn't sure if you wanted me to talk about personal details. I'm going through some stuff with my kids, so yes,
Uh-oh.
John John was the one to write that letter to my kid, and I read it out loud to my son. I don't
That's
want to
kind of
talk about
beautiful.
personal details right now because I'm kind of going through some stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, John, I just credited you. Oh my gosh. We're bickering online. Here we go. Anyway, but yeah, like um, I do think that there's a sort of resistance to being human. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so horrible, black pill. Like, but I sort of it was from a fortune cookie. Yeah, yeah. Do you want to tell the story? He's like, no. Um,
I have a fortune cookie idea, but I
yeah.
can't get anybody to go for it. I might have to produce them myself or whatever, but um I want to make fortune cookies that when the message on the inside is always existentially detrimental, just pure negative. Like I want fortune cookies that say like you've got AIDS and various things stuff like that. And on the back, I want to put lucky numbers, but I wanted to say lucky numbers are for lucky people. You are not that. And like just whatever other things I can think of I think that would be
Misfortune
beautiful.
cookies. Yes, that's
Yeah.
so funny.
I got a lot of ideas like that. Like, I don't know, like they're not going to work. I wanted to do 9/11 Jenga, where it's like a Jenga tower, but you push the blocks through with little airplanes,
Oh
and
man.
I got a rejection letter from play school for that one, but I don't know. maybe I can make one myself. I don't know yet.
Dude, you should definitely consider stand-up comedy, yo.
But I want to make toys. Ah,
I think humor is also really cathartic, you
oh yeah,
know, like we have David Rodriguez for Soundpath, even though, you know, he's more known for his unschooling sort of work. He's doing a comedy set. I love seeing all these like podcasters and stuff like come in, like seeing other sides of them. And I was
yeah.
telling you before we even started, like I've actually only known you mostly as a musician. Like
That's
I'm excited to dive more into your esoteric work, but I've mostly been digging your music actually.
that
Yeah.
is actually that's like a huge relief because I mean to hear that because imagine trying to get people to hear your music for a decade and it just
Mm,
never sticks. You've always got like the one or two dudes who are like, this is like fucking you're ahead of your time or whatever, and you're like, you've that's good love right there, you know. But you just can't like sell tickets to shows. Like, what are we doing? Like, it just doesn't work, you know. And it never worked. And now, like, it's so funny because I found something that did work, and now that's become a catalyst of my music in such a way that you actually didn't see the first thing. You just the music came to you first, and that's a beautiful thing. But yeah, it certainly it all goes hand in hand. Like, there's people who watch my show and then they don't even know that I make music, and then when they hear it they're like, okay, this I'm not even surprised like that this actually this works together, you know. Oh,
yeah.
I do all of the music on my show, the score, the soundtrack. I do that myself, all the orchestral stuff
Wow.
and the symphony stuff. That's like my favorite. That's my one of my favorite parts of the show because I can talk all day, obviously, but whenever I get done filming and edit it, I get to sit down with a piano and violins and whatnot, and actually, because I've always loved movie soundtracks. If you ever, they're super effective. There's some movies that like the parts just wouldn't hit at the end if the music wasn't all swelling up and stuff. So I was able to like take advantage of that. So instead of like hitting a button and putting a 3 minute soundtrack to whatever I'm saying, I can actually like while the computer is playing back my edited episode, I can look at it and play piano to it while it's going, and I know what's going to be said and I can match the mood for it. So it gives it kind of a more of a cinematic and organic feel to it. Um all the time in the comments, people always say, "What AI prompt did you use to get the music to match what you were saying like that?" And I'm like, is our society so bereft of work that everyone they ask me all the time, like, oh, the rhetoric that you use, you did a triple entendre that made that joke actually serious. What AI prompt did you use to make it do that? I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
I
Yeah,
know. I
don't get me
often
started on that.
I have the opposite issue where I'm like, I need to tell everyone that I didn't use AI. You know what I mean? Like I want credit for this. What I what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's aggravating. It's I know this sounds crazy to say this, but I'll be the first to say it, and maybe I'll be right. It feels right, but okay, AI is not going to be like the internet and pockets and cars. One of these things that it comes and stays, and now it's a part of our society. You can already tell that the more sophisticated portions of society are sick of it in such a way that their thumbs whenever like there's a new YouTube fad going around, whenever someone comes across a YouTube video that's obviously AI script written, they hit the thumbs down button on it now because they're just sick of it coming up on their algorithm. They can't avoid it at this point. We used to be able to let our YouTube algorithm just let it play and be at work. But now,
Right.
while we're doing our work, we have to take our phone out of our pocket and click skip on a video because it was made by AI. And I mean, some of them do pretty good production wise, but none of them are saying anything. it's almost like just a list with
Mm,
the way AI is doing it, and you can really tell. But there's no soul in it. I can tell. People write me letters all the time and say, check out my research. And sometimes I love that, by the way. When people do that, I read them. But sometimes I respond back, this was written by AI. That's it, period. And they'll say, how did you know that? Dude, you use the word delve. Like, no, I know it's not. I know you didn't write. You wrote within the intricate tapestry. No, you didn't fucking write that. Like, how do more people, how do you not tell? You can tell.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, I view it as a tool, right? Like
Yeah.
it's helpful for marketing, promotion stuff. It's helpful for, um, I've I've used it with the legal system.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That,
If you're like pro se in a situation, it could be
yeah,
helpful potentially if you get the right players
that's good
involved. Um,
because it's got
yeah,
access to all the laws.
right,
Not even a lawyer can remember all that. But yeah,
right.
it's a wonderful tool, like any tool, like a hammer. You can beat yourself in the face with it, or you can build a shed. You get to pick. But if you use it to do the work, the creative work, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're going to be a fad. I guarantee it. It won't. Nothing you do will possibly last if the creative aspect of it was done with AI. And I'll be the first to say, and this won't bite me in the foot later. I'll say it now, and in 10 years, people can look it up. I've never used AI, and I've never promoted. I've never done anything to promote anything. I used to promote my music until I found out that was futile. You're just better off writing better music. You're better off
Mm,
practicing doing that. Every minute I ever spent promoting anything, I always found was a waste of time because I was taking away from building my skills. Carl Jung is absolutely he says, do your work in solitude and do your work honestly, and then the others will find you. That is the truest shit, but it seems so impossible because when you're closed up behind doors in a silent house, it's just very haunting. And you're like, you get that claustrophobic feeling of isolation. And it's like, nah, just keep sharpening your axe. And it's whenever it comes time, it's going to work. Uh, but I'll now, I have looked up a thesaurus. I've been like, what's a better word for, okay,
yeah.
so like that. And also my animations guy, Thomas of Cregon's Dark World, he uses AI to make his animations move for that.
Hmm,
But I think that's kind of a tool as well, and he does
yeah.
a really great job for the channel. His animations he does for Library Than Told is fantastic, which is crazy because his personal channel is awful. It just sucks, Tom. And I mean, you got to work on that. But when he does work for Library Than Told, I don't know how he does it. It's beautiful. Sorry, Tom.
I'm thinking about what you're saying, and I kind of feel like the point of AI should be to free up humans from doing boring
Yeah.
tasks so that they can be creative, you
Yes.
know? And I also think on the other end of it, you know, there is kind of, I mean, you're an exception, but I would say most people tend to search for music lessons to be taught. Um,
Yeah.
like the correct technique. There are certain instruments I think that, might lend themselves well.
Well,
Like yes.
y- you'll never find a better or more astounding musician, a guitar player, than the blind dude who has the guitar sitting in his lap, seemingly upside down, and had to like feel his way around to do it. Like you've seen these guys
Mm,
when it's like they're playing it wrong. Jimi Hendrix plays his guitar wrong. You're not
wow.
supposed to have your thumb up over the top like
Yeah.
that, and you're not supposed to do it left-handed and upside down. He has to stroke upwards to get those chords.
Right.
And well, also you're not supposed to light it on fire either. But I mean, there's a lot of things that, yeah, you're not supposed to do it like that. But that's kind of the point. Let it come from within. You can get all the lessons you want in the world to become a professional, but you're going to be a copy of a copy. So be ready for that, you know?
I will say this about your experience with music promotion, that I think generally speaking, people aren't listening to rock or metal in general for some reason. They're more gravitating towards country or hip hop or rap.
Right.
There's been a sort of void, if you will, in the rock department, in the metal department, and I'm hoping it comes back. Sorry, I'm full of puns today. Stares back. Sorry, but yeah, I think it would be. I feel like there's just going to be waves and trends. Like I think you know rock and metal will come back.
I think the reason people like rap and country music is very simple. It's a hive mind, and the reason know it's a simple explanation is because I enjoy country music and rap music when I am with the person who is also enjoying it. So if I'm in the truck with my coworker and we're on our way to Quick Trip, which is my home away from home, and we're gonna get a break from work, and he blasts like this country song in his truck, and the windows are down and we're rolling and we're laughing. That all of a sudden, that's a really good song, and it doesn't matter what it is. So when people, as a hive mind, come together, and they create a thought form, a third party that dictates what is good. So now all of a sudden, what is good becomes whatever music is accepted by the general whole. Very rarely do people want to say, hey, all of you guys have bad taste in music, and my eclectic taste in music is actually the only one that's good. Because in our primordial mind, once upon a time, that kind of activity would get you excommunicated from the tribe, in which case you don't survive. No one survives when they're cast out of the tribe because you die of the elements. So that trickles down to what we have today with everything, including music. We're going to like the music that other people like because we don't want to go die in the desert, you know? So it's actually kind of a bold statement to enjoy music that is not popular, and that's why I think it survives in the underground so well. You'll never see these really eclectic types of music advertised. They don't have to be, because they live in this undercurrent of society where people well, they're always going to be visiting there. You know, people are always snooping around in those realms of things where if somebody was to walk up, you would turn off your computer real quick, hoping they didn't see. You know, it's kind of that the elements of shame, that if you can learn to wear it proudly on your sleeve, it becomes something actually like really cool, you know?
I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, shall we do one more?
I I would love to do one more, but I want to throw a curveball.
All right. Or you
Can
could
we?
play something or sing something.
Well, I was gonna say to play "Shadow at Your Feet," the lyric video, because it's short, but also it's funny. The song is funny, and the song is weird, but it gets I don't know, it gets deep at the end, I suppose. But
Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to download it.
oh, these are
Um,
downloads.
yeah, because I went on YouTube to stream it, and
Okay,
the sound quality was
I see.
really,
It
it was
doesn't
not
quite
good.
work. Okay.
Yeah. But I can download it real quick actually. Um,
Well, no,
while
don't worry about that. I suppose I'll take the route that you mentioned. I'll go with that. Let me bust out a guitar real quick.
Oh my gosh, you totally don't have to. Aw.
No, I want to now.
Aw, okay.
But,
I'll make some announcements
I
about
mean,
Soundpath while you get ready. We're having an impromptu live performance from Boyd Stairs
yeah.
Back, Joey Phipps. Thanks for
Um,
being cool and flexible about it.
there's
Um,
no guarantee that this is going to be any good.
aw, how exciting! This was like a happy mistake,
Yeah. Uh,
and I do have it
yeah.
downloaded just in case.
Oh, that's cool. It's not perfectly tuned either, but it'll work. Let me try to remember the lyrics of it. Walking down the same road that I paved, I got lost along the way. Onlookers don't see pain, but this way is impossible. Reading down the same map that I wrote, that keeps me alone. Onlookers fight for bones, but this way is impossible. You see me as a stranger as I walk by, but I see you. Negate me without a greeting as I pass by, 'cause I am you. Leading down the same house that I made. God, I can never stay. Onlookers stay at bay. 'Cause this place is impossible. Reading from the same map that I show, that keeps me alone. Onlookers fight for ghosts, but this place is impossible. You see me as a stranger as I walk by, but I see you. They gave me without a greeting as I pass by, 'cause I am you. Take me home through rabbit holes, mind on a roll, mind untold, through the tunnel that unfolds. Take the blame off my life, bathe me eye deep in white light, always speaking, always wrong. Thoughts are made in languid song. I can't grasp it, so I let go. Angels take me long. Feed me, show me the way, how to be. Release me, show me the way, how to see. Consume me, show me the way, how to be. Complete me, show me the way, how to see. 'Cause I've been the bore, I've been the tool to penetrate, to be the seed to generate, to satisfy your needs. So give me pain, give me grief, to show me how to see that I am all slither home, slither home, slither home.
Awesome. I'm so glad we got that.
Whenever I looked up and you were gone, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like,
Aw. No. No, that's great.
I don't have a good voice for singing, but that's kind of the irony to it though, is you just do it anyway and you do it with kind it's like what's that one dude? Tom Waits or like what's the one dude? The Bob Dylan. None of these dudes can sing, but they can write songs, and they refuse to,
Mm.
sell their songs, so they just do it anyway. And no, yeah, if you don't have to be good to do stuff, and I'm not a great guitar player, and I don't have a voice for singing, but I mean, you know, just got to do it.
I think I think what I like about your music and about a lot of sort of like more songs that have a sort of emotional quality is that it's not about, well, the song's moving you through emotions. It's almost
Right.
like a journey, and it's less about, you know, like yeah, it's about the emotions for me, I think, and
Yeah.
I care less about, oh well, this note wasn't, this, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter, and like
Yeah. People are always like, look how complex this riff is. And you're like, well, it went by really fast. I don't even know what you did. You know, Yeah, I understand that 100%. Music is strictly an emotional thing, I think. It's like that's why I like Cradle of Filth. I don't know if you're familiar, but
yeah,
like I mean the dude, the singer of Cradle of Filth is not a good vocalist, and that is clear. Like right off the bat it's clear. But I
right.
mean he barks, practically, but he goes all in. And it's like that makes it super esoteric. It's a beautiful ugly.
It's funny, it's like I find that, like, because I was sort of more classically trained vocally, when I sing, I actually try to, like, make it ugly, or not ugly,
Yeah,
but, like, I try to make it more conversational, and
yeah,
I try to add, like, tone and emotion onto it versus, like,
right. We got to
straight
think what
singing
is
it well.
a vibrato? All a vibrato is coming off pitch a little bit
Right.
back and forth. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's got to be a little wayward. It's got to be a little fucked up. No one likes anything that's perfect. We're designed to not. Have you ever seen an animated movie like that's animated so well that it looks real, where it's creepy? Like no one, Uncanny Valley, I think it's like I don't like things that are too perfect. That's why I like Billie Eilish, for example, is like it's pop music. It's very popular music or whatever, but the songs are not perfect. They're like really kind of roughly produced, and she's mumbling or whatever. I, people like that. Whereas I think now people are starting to kind of get sick of the Katy Perry. I love Katy Perry, so this is not me saying this, but like people are starting to get tired of the perfect woman singing the perfect note at the perfect time and the perfect pitch. People are just kind of like over it.
Well, it's like AI, like auto-tuning voice. It's just like you
Right,
lose the, like you said, the imperfection. I
right,
will say this though, I was listening to some like sort of more Eastern influenced like uh sort of Middle Eastern Indian singing, like,
yeah,
and they do like quarter tones. It's freaking crazy.
yeah. They got 24 notes.
I
We
know,
got
man.
we only have 12 notes. They got 24. What gives?
I know, it's like there's it's just so incredible how they're able to, like, get that precise with their vocal folds. It's like, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've always wanted to sample the that Hindu sounding chant where the dude's like, oh yeah, yeah, like I can't do it, but I love that. Like I love that voice, and I like to sample it in various things. Make it all exotic and whatnot. Do you like Demu Borgir at all? Are you
I don't think
familiar?
I know them, no.
Ah, okay. There's the New Borgir is a Norwegian black metal band by all definition, but they put out a
Oh,
song.
wait, I think I do know them.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
do you
they got the
spell it?
paint and everything, and but their newest song they put out. It's not new anymore, but it's their latest one.
Uh-huh.
Is it's tribal, and there's like Hindu chanting in it. They really took way outside of their comfort zone on it, and it's like to me, it's their best song.
Cool. Um, yeah, so I used to work for this, like not work, volunteer for this, zine, and I feel like I covered one of their albums, but I can't remember. But it was
Mm,
like a Norwegian metal band. So
yeah,
like I was doing this like first listen series where I was just like I just like went to the back when there were record stores
right.
and just like pick one and then just listen to it and just like write a review on it. And um anyway,
It would
this
that
is like
definitely that would have been Demu Borgir definitely because they're the only ones
yeah,
that
I feel like
anyone's
it was
ever
that. Yeah.
right.
This was back in like the early knots.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think that was and they had an album that was kinda like it looked like, it was, like, gray, but it had, like, black it was almost like claws. Was
yeah,
that it?
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it sound like Star Wars? Did it sound like Star Wars music? Because that's them.
Oh, okay, alright, maybe it wasn't them. I think it was,
Oh,
like, a noise metal situation.
oh no, I don't
Yeah,
know.
okay, never mind. Anyway, this is probably one of our longest interviews. I feel like we like I don't know, like you seem like a cool person, like I want to be your friend. But
Yeah,
yeah, like I dig your music too, and I'm so glad that you're going to be part of our online lineup on Saturday probably. We're going to do most of our lineup. So, but we also have Friday evening spots too if you would rather live stream on there and we can work out those details.
sure.
Um
Yeah.
but is there anything else you wanna kinda share as a sort of closing thought or
Um,
message?
whenever I come to Coral Castle, I'm gonna call you, and you gotta meet me there, and
Yeah,
we'll do a little
yeah,
walk and talk podcast thing. You
that'd
know,
be fun. Yeah.
I
Uh,
can't honestly think of anything that hasn't already been covered. You already plugged all the links, and we played a bunch of the songs, and I'm very happy with today's chat.
yeah, I'm very honored to, get to know you more and, yeah, this is fun. Check
The only
out
thing I'll say
yeah,
I might as well say is I dropped a video on literally Friday, like the day before yesterday,
okay.
called Mars Immutable, and I hope everybody watches that. You know,
Mars Immutable on your voyage stairs
no,
back?
on my full time gig now,
Okay.
Library of the Untold. It's a documentary hypothesizing that the fallen angels came from Mars, and it's way out there,
Mm.
and it's not an easy to swallow thing. It's kind of a bong rip philosophy, to be honest. But the pieces work. The it I filled an hour basically defending my point that the Nephilim are from Mars, and it sounds crazy, but hear me out.
It's actually consistent with some of what, Gigi Young's work, is
Yes,
also yeah, with, like, the whole, Melchizedek stuff with
yeah,
the yeah, Ahriman. I'm just, like, name dropping stuff.
yeah. So I don't quite get as like a cult as she does in it. There's definitely a part of that there that's very important. The spiritual side of it is very important, and I touch about it on it for like a good 10-20 minutes or so. But I kind of wanted the video to be no surprise here. It's almost like a male version of her Mars series, to
Yeah.
where it shows like the bones of it that this could literally be uh so self-evident and something that we've overlooked for centuries, and it's like right there under our noses, and something big happened once upon a time that caused humanity to keep on talking about the same event for thousands and thousands of years later. We're still like, that was a moment in human history where something happened weird and we don't know what it was. And I think it came from Mars, but everybody can kind of come up with their own conclusions for that, of course.
Well, okay. I know it's supposed to end. I just no, I'm not used to talking to people this long. This is just crazy. But
Uh,
I just want to add that like I kind of think it's okay to talk about things that you're not sure about. Okay?
yeah,
Like, why do we have to have everything 100% figured out? It's for sure, this and not that. It's like that
right.
binary thinking is going to trap you. Like, just sort of like keeping an openness to being wrong, keeping an openness
Yeah,
to consideration for things. I
right.
don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And being non dogmatic is probably preferential.
Yeah, it's important that we remember our what ifs in our speculations, and I like to use Aristotle's model for arguments. The way he says it is you got to set up two pillars and then your floor on top of that. So he's like, you take a fact, an irrefutable fact, and you take an adjacent, also irrefutable fact, and those things are different, but they aim in the same direction. Now you have those two, you can put that floor on top of that. That floor is your argument. That's your what if. That's your speculation. And if you get enough of those pillars up, you get a really convincing argument going on. But at the same time, the comments that, for example, the comments are very loving. I live in the comments section. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. I don't know how I dodged the bullet. But every once in a while, there will be like on this Mars Immutable video, someone commented about they're like this strictly goes against the fossil record, and this and that would roll in his grave, and then you didn't support this part of evidence enough for that argument, right? They broke it down, and in the comment and the reply, I wrote, "Welcome to YouTube." Like, don't don't base your college thesis on my video. It's a show. Like,
Yeah.
but that's
You're
the it's
just
people
yeah.
yeah, it's for fun. The show is meant to be fun. It's a show. I don't know. There's a lot of people who think that I don't know that YouTubers are educators or whatever. I don't get it. I never signed up for that. Um Under the category in the YouTube section, I click entertainment. That's the genre it's under. People really like to nitpick and overanalyze things, but I think for the most part, the library of the untold community, they actually get it. They know better than that, and they understand that they're sitting down with the popcorn to have a good time. If this show is meant to teach anything, it's only meant to practice thinking, to exercise your
Right.
imagination. It's not meant to write down a list of objective facts. I would be completely missing the point. There's a million other people who can do that.
Totally. And, like you said, as long as you have a foundation, I would say like, objective right and wrong,
Right.
there are certain laws, natural laws that govern the universe. And after that, everything's, you know, the trivium process. You're just building on that foundation of those pillars, like you said.
Right. And the building on those foundation, it takes you down a rabbit hole. It gets weirder. It gets weirder and weirder as you go. I think reality, the truth of reality it's not just stranger than we think. It's stranger than we can think. So not only do I think that something as weird as this Mars mystery could be real, but I think my video is wrong in the only regard that it's probably even way weirder than I even could imagine in it. So I don't know. It's one of those things where time will tell, and maybe there's certain things that we're not even supposed to know. But it's fun. It's fun to think. It's fun to speculate. It's fun to talk about, and like for like what we've done here today, we didn't talk about any political issues or the new, I don't know, jeans ad that has everybody in a ruckus. All this, we didn't talk about Ozzy Osbourne. Like, we didn't talk about Donald Trump. And I think that's a very valuable thing. Of course, I just listed all those things that being a hypocrite, but like, we spent an hour and a half here talking about things that are dear to us without mentioning anything that's on the news. And that's what this is all about.
I feel like music is a way to time travel.
Yeah, for sure. Just watching my own videos is proof of that.
All right, I definitely could talk. Speaking of time, I definitely would love to talk to you again. This was an awesome interview.
Yeah.
You're very cool to talk to. Yeah, so I'll be sure to plug your new video along with your sites. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Anytime.
Yay. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys.